Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. Again, if you're new, please subscribe. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers now, which is massive. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see our website where we have player ratings, match reports, and various different articles as well. So go and check that out. It's a real good read, written by Villa fans. So it's just top quality content, no clickbait whatsoever. So it's all good stuff. So it feels like Aston Villa haven't played a football match for about 5 years. It just feels like it's been forever since I was at the Spurs stadium. You know, it was a poor game from Villa, but these international breaks, I don't know whether it was because obviously when we weren't going to games, there was football on literally every single hour, wasn't there? When a match finished, another one started. But for me, it just feels like we haven't played in ages, basically. And I'm really missing it. I can't wait to be at Villa Park for the Wolves game. So we've got Hannah back on as well. So what have you been up to in this little break?
Yeah, it does feel like ages, doesn't it? I can't even remember the Spurs game now, thinking back to it. It feels like forever ago. So yeah, when we've not got football on, when we've not got Villa on, I feel like everyone sort of has lots of other things to think about. So people are thinking about the next game, you know, what formation we're going to go. People are thinking about the international team. But obviously writing for the website and other things, I'm always thinking about what can we talk about. And something that obviously is very close to my heart is talking about being a female fan in the men's game. So obviously we put out the piece this weekend that was sort of in collaboration with Her Game too, talking about my experience as a female fan and my journey to embracing that and enjoying the men's game, and also highlighting the really good work that Her Game to do in the scene. So that's been what I've been up to, and hopefully, I mean, looking at the reaction that it got, I think a lot of people resonated with it and a lot of people agreed. So hopefully it kept some people entertained, but also gave some food for thought as well, because obviously as much as it's nice to entertain and to keep people occupied when the football's not on, it's also good to have these conversations and talk about important things as well, because that's the reason that we build these kinds of platforms. So yeah, it's been quite a productive break for myself.
Brilliant. And I think it's a brilliant message. And for any of you that just listen or just watch us, we do have a website, so be sure to check it out. The link is just in this screen now, so just go and check it out.
I'll say something as well. I obviously read Hannah's piece. I thought it was fantastic. Looking at it I saw it from a totally different point of view. I've got two daughters that I take to the game. So when I read it, it really resonated with me, because it was sort of almost like my daughters were talking to me about going to the match, because, you know, you can't help what kids you have. I had two daughters and there was no way I wasn't going to take them down the Villa. So it was just a really nice piece, and I thought it was fantastically written as well.
Top stuff. And it's brilliant to see that Ryan's paid his electricity bill this week. He's been, check that haircut that I did on him. Looks good, doesn't it?
See now, can you?
He's got next door's electric, hasn't he? That's what he's done. He's plugged into next door.
Hooked it up while there was out.
Yeah, so my actual job is a hairdresser as well. So as you can see, I'm not too bad at that. So, right. So let's talk about something which I think is absolutely amazing for any Villa player to be up for an award, but Emi Martinez is up for basically the Ballon d'Or of goalkeepers. He's up against Navas, Neuer, Andovic, Oblak, and yeah, Martinez is up there as well. And I think for me, Martinez, if you look at his international record, I've got it right here. 11 international caps, 7 wins, 6 clean sheets, 4 penalty saves, and Copa America winner. You know, what a start to an international career. Messi is waxing lyrical about him. And for me, yeah, we've not won anything with Martinez, whereas you look at the other keepers that, you know, Spink, Bosnich, you know, we actually won something with those keepers, and they're obviously really highly thought of within the Villa fans. But for me, Martinez is an absolute monster in goal. It's just not his saves, it's his presence, it's his mentality, it's his what he brings to the dressing room, the way he talks about Aston Villa in interviews and press. You know, he bigs us up. He's got himself in one of his rooms in his house in a Villa kit on his wall. I just think he's, for me, a world class, and I think he's probably the best goalkeeper in the world at the minute. Does anyone want to add anything on Martinez? I mean, I've said a lot about him there, but Justin, come on, he's so good, isn't he?
He's phenomenal, mate. I mean, you know, for Villa to spend £20 million on a goalkeeper at the time is unheard of. We've never done it before. So it was a massive statement of intent when we went for him. Obviously, we had the injury to, I can't think of his name now, that's gone to Man United. Gone out my head. Heaton. Yeah, so we needed a big name player in, and he had that phenomenal run with Arsenal, didn't he, towards the end of the season, won the FA Cup, and I just can't think anything other than Arsenal fans must be absolutely kicking themselves for letting him go, because he's got to be worth, I would say, comfortably triple what we paid for him, and that's been probably conservative. If Kepa's worth 71 million, then what's he worth? It's just been a breath of fresh air. You know, every great team is based on a good defence, and every good defence needs a great goalkeeper behind him. And we have got, I agree with you, he's definitely in the top 3 in the world now, not just in the Premier League, in the world. He's pretty much universally seen as one of the best goalkeepers going. So we've got to be very, very privileged. I feel very proud that he represents Villa. And like you say, he represents us with his smile on his face. He seems to love playing for us. He loves the banter. You know, he embraces the fans, he embraces the club, and long may it continue. I just hope he's our goalkeeper for the foreseeable future for a good 10 years, you know, because he could easily carry on playing because he's fit as a fiddle. Yeah, absolutely buzzing to have him at Villa. I can't believe it, to be honest.
You know what sets him different to the rest? What makes him a club cult hero for me? He's saying when he said Villa's a big club, mate. I absolutely love that. And that is what he is all about. And he's fast. Yeah. He could possibly be overtaking Bosnich and Friedel for me. He's immense, isn't he? His mentality is elite. He must be. He's awesome in that dressing room for us. Absolutely awesome. And he's come back from Copa America full of confidence, man. You ain't messing around penalty kicks like that, dancing around.
Yeah,
and Old Trafford,
even at Old Trafford, you know.
Yeah.
Telling Ronaldo to take that penalty.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Ronaldo's like a god, isn't he? And our keeper is baiting him.
big time in front of what, 90,000 people baiting Ronaldo, and it worked. And it worked a treat. And his new best friend Messi, he's just waxing lyrical about him all the time, isn't he? And I think what's Messi got left? 2 years at Paris Saint-Germain. I think he'll be ready for a swan song down the Villa, won't he? By the time we'll be in Champions League by then, won't we? So come on, Messi, get yourself over.
To be fair, I'm surprised that Brazilian. Who was that saying that about Douglas Luiz? Like, you know, who are Aston Villa? Like, come on, mate. Like, it's just such stupid comments come out when we've got.
The fact that he's only played like 40 odd games for us, and we're talking about him, you know, being one of our best keepers ever, says everything you need to know about him. You know, I think if as long as he stays for probably 2 or 3 seasons at least, he will comfortably be our best goalkeeper ever.
Definitely. Right. So we'll move on to our game at the weekend. We got Wolves coming up. They've had a little bit of an indifferent start. You know, probably a little bit like us, really. You know, we lost, obviously, Grealish. They've had a change in manager, so it's been a little bit different for them. But they started off with, you know, 3 losses, although they played really well. I watched a couple of their games. I thought they were brilliant against Man United. And then they've come into a little bit of form of late, beating Southampton. And Newcastle, I watched when they beat Southampton. I didn't think they looked that great in that game, though, to be fair. But yeah, they've come into a little bit of form. So it's going to be an interesting game, isn't it? We're coming off the back of a very disappointing performance against Spurs. We're unbeaten at home. It's a game where you'd expect Villa to be strong at home. I think there's question marks on what formation we're going to play. Are we going to match Wolves, or are we going to go 4-3-3? For me, it's dependent on whether Bailey's back. I think if Bailey's back, we go 4-3-3. If not, I think we'll stick with the 5 at the back, the 3 midfield and 2 up top. Hannah, how do you feel like we're going to set up for that game? What's your vibe? Do you feel like we'll be strong? Too much for them?
Yeah, again, I think it is really dependent on Bailey. Following the Spurs performance, I think it has thrown up the formation question again, hasn't it? I think when we first went with the 3 at the back or 5 at the back, however you want to say it, it was, we're matching Chelsea, let's see how it goes. And then, we kept doing it and it worked. And then we went to Spurs and it did kind of crumble. So whether the break has given time to just reset or whether it will be completely, okay, let's go back to what we know. Let's go back to the 4-3-3. Can we get Bailey back in? Is he going to be fit? With how things go, I feel like it's probably going to be he's on the bench. So to be honest, I'm not too sure. I think no matter what, we've got enough quality with the 11 men on the pitch to not only match them, but, we should be beating them comfortably. Although we have had a bit of a wobbly start with some poor performances. Wolves are a bit of a, similar team in that sense that they aren't particularly strong going forward, and they have a lot of defensive fragility a lot of the time. It's not like a couple of seasons ago where you were playing Wolves and you're thinking, it's going to be a tough game. I feel like it has been a difficult time for them of late, so we should really be capitalising on that. And the fact that, they've only just got Jimenez back and he's only just starting to come back into form. It's not like they've got a really dangerous front line that we think, they're going to punish us no matter whether we've got 4 at the back or 5 at the back. So I think it's going to be one of those where we're at Villa Park on Saturday and everyone's going to be eagerly awaiting the team sheet. And I think there'll be a lot of meltdowns and a lot of people who are like, yeah, okay, we can do this. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Dean Smith does, because I think either way people are going to complain. So I think after half an hour we'll get a good idea of whether we're going to have another Spurs or if we're going to have, a Manchester United or, kind of performance. So we shall see. But either way, I think it's all going to be to be seen on Saturday, considering we've had a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, a couple of things that I want to pick from what you've mentioned. I think the mind the gap Aston Villa chant lasted not very long, did it? That's been put back into hibernation for a good few years. I'd like to see Bailey back on the bench and not back on the grass. I hope that line doesn't come back. And yeah, I feel like we will be strong. I think one thing I want to pick up on the Spurs game, when I was at the game was, and I mentioned the lack of possession that we had and the passes that I think if you run, I saw a stat of everybody's passing accuracy was around a lot lower than what it technically normally is for that given player. So I think we just had a real bad day, didn't we, with the ball? I think we got pressed a little bit too much, and I just think we really struggled to keep hold of the ball, full stop. So I do expect a better Villa to turn up, especially at Wolves. Justin, how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, I think. I think if we'd have played him 3 or 4 games ago, I'd have been far more confident. But like Hannah says, that the key man for them is Raul, isn't it? And I've got to say, the last game he played, he did look something like he's back to his best. I mean, the goal he scored was phenomenal. He leads the line. I think in his pomp last season before he got injured and last season before that, for me, he was probably the best number 9 in the country as an all-round number 9, leading the line, great in the air, scores all kinds of goals. A really good player. And the rest of the team backs it up with them. But, they don't, obviously they've been through this little bit of a change with the manager and he does play very good football, to be fair to him, but they haven't had the results probably that the performances have probably warranted. So it is going to be a tough game. They're missing Neto, I think, still. So, but I have been impressed with that. He's Huang, the new lad up front. He looks he could be a bit of a handful as well. So we've got to be on our mettle on Saturday. There's no question about it. It's a derby as well, so they're going to be well up for it. But I think if we do, it's probably the international break. I said this before. It has come at a good time for us because I think it's given us a chance to get a couple of players back fit. We're all praying Bailey's going to be back fit. I do think probably he's going to be on the bench. I can't see him throwing him straight back in, which would lead me to think more than likely he'll just stick with what we've done up to now. I mean, the only other way he could go if Bailey is fit, I know Traore's out as well. He might, maybe, is it the time to experiment with the 4-3-3 and go Bailey, Ings and Watkins as the front three and have it as a more of a fluid sort of three up front rather than a rigid sort of somebody's playing the 9 and 2 playing wide, play it as a fluid front three and whoever's sort of in and amongst, the areas they play in those areas. I don't know, it's going to be a real bone of contention running up to the game. The whole of Twitter are going to be experimenting with their lineups and their formations and everything. I'm sure Smith knows already what more than likely what he's going to go with. I think whatever we go with, we're at home. We've got a decent home record. And we go into every game now looking to win it, don't we? We went to Old Trafford looking to win. We went to Chelsea looking to win. So we're going to go looking to win. I think we've got more than enough in our locker to beat them. We've got to play well and put our chances away. It'd be nice to see Danny Ings get on the score sheet again, I think. But we've got to be careful about Wolves. They have got some good players. Traore always worries me as awful as his final ball is. He's got pace to burn, hasn't he? And I think the midfield are sort of trying to get back to where they was, So, we'll have plans ready for everything. I think, the coaches, they know what they're doing. And I think we'll be ready for them. And I'm pretty confident we can get a win.
Traore's not got out of Hutton's back pocket from that semi-final yet, though, I see.
That was Hutton at left back as well, wasn't it?
Not the same player since.
He just worries me because he's got that ridiculous pace.
Yeah, but he's not. The new manager don't fancy him though.
No, he hasn't really. I think he lubes him up and gets him on with 20 minutes to go now, doesn't he? That's the plan, isn't it? Trying to have people can not grab on to hold of him. But yeah, he hasn't really done it for him. He had one good season, then after that, he's returned back to his Villa form. So hopefully that'll continue.
Well, hopefully the best player.
I was going to say, I'm going to stop myself from doing any Traore slander because I know the minute I say what I'm thinking, he's going to do something against us on Saturday.
And that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It was always in the back in the day. It was always Ian Wright. Every time he turned up to Villa Park, he used to get hammered by the Villa fans, and then you just knew he was going to bury one in the top corner.
Yeah,
despite the Wolves fans to get quite touchy when you mentioned Traore for some reason. Ryan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm slightly nervous about this one. They're a good side, Wolves. The first 3 games, I think it was United, Leicester and Spurs. They lost all 3, but they played really well. I've got a few Wolves mates that were saying, look, we're playing so well with gilt-edged chances. And they've created, I think they've had 13 big chances compared to our 5. Now, I didn't know what a big chance was, but it's where a player is expected to score. That opportunity is presented to them and it should hit the back of the net. They've had 13 compared to our 5. Now, we're only 7 games in. If they would have scored half of them, they'd be, pushing Champions League position. So I think they've played real free-flowing attacking football and they look dangerous and they've got the result and they've won, 3 of the last 4? They had a big blip against Brentford, but they are on a bit of good form and Hwang, he looked good against Newcastle, didn't he? He put them goals away. And I think he scored the game before. I think he's got 3 and 2, hasn't he? So the space we afforded Son against Tottenham, I don't think we can afford Hwang that sort of space because he looks like a ruthless finisher. And I think it was Hannah that said it. Jimenez is coming back to his best. You're seeing glimpses of it now. Obviously, he's off the mark again, so his confidence is going up. I think he's took his protective band off now, or his headgear as well. So he looks up for it. The keeper looked a bit dodgy, but he seems to have settled down. And I just think it's a tough game. It's a tough game, and they do play 3 at the back, and I do like Villa playing against 3 at the back. We took Liverpool apart, Arsenal apart last season. So I think as the home side, it's going to be up to us to give them something to think about. So hopefully, man like Bailey is fit and.
Yes, definitely. And it's nice to see Jimenez scoring. Do you know what I mean? Because I think as a football fan, you don't like to see any type of injury like that. And, I'm just buzzing for, Wolves fans that he's back and he is firing. I just hope he has a bit of a blip. on Saturday anyway. So we'll go to what the viewers and listeners have said. Peter Wilkes has put his some more top analysis on how he thinks we'll do. He's just put draw. Alex has put should be a good close game. Both teams should be up for it. They've hit a bit of good form too. For me, this game isn't a rivalry. My granddad was a Wolves fan, so I respect them. And so when we play them, I always think of him. Our man Ryan here, one of his memories was singing There's Only One Emil Heskey. Algie's put one each, hoping for a win, but head saying draw. What else have we got? A View from the Stands has put nothing but 3 points for Villa, 3-0 win. Favourite game versus Wolves was the 4-1 thrashing at home in 2018. That Wolves team was dubbed the best ever in the Championship. Even Icelandic Bjarnason scored that night. Remember it being absolute scenes all night. Something else important, Adam Wright contacted me. It's International Stammering Awareness Day. It's coming up on the 22nd of October. And it's going to be in the, where are we? It's going to be in the Fun Zone at Wolves. So go and have a chat with them, understand what stammering and the impact of having a stammer can have on a person and what it can do to help. Or if you have a stammer yourself, go and find out what support is out there to help you if you want it. So be sure to go and check that out in the Fun Zone at Villa Park on Saturday. I think that's pretty much everything. It's weird doing these episodes when Villa haven't played a game, because obviously you're previewing a game and you're speaking about a game that happened virtually 2 weeks ago, hoping that everybody comes back fit. But hopefully we entertained you a little bit. Subscribe to our channel and we'll do our score predictions now. I'm going to go with here we go. I'm going to go 2-0 Villa. I'm going to go an Ings and I'm going to keep saying it until he scores a Ramsey goal. Ryan?
I am going to go with 1-0. And I think Super John McGinn's form is going to bring it to Villa Park as well. So, backing in.
How good was his goal though the other night?
Took it well then.
He needs to be on the edge of that box more for us, doesn't he?
Need to game forward, yeah.
Definitely, because he can finish. Hannah?
Yeah, I think going off everything we've said, it's really hard to judge, isn't it? Because, so much can change in this period with injuries and form can change. So I'm going to go for a 2-1. I think Wolves are going to be at it. They've got some quality. But I think we can edge it. And I'm going to go for 2-1. And I'm going to root for... I'm going to go for a John McGinn goal. And then I'm going to go for a Konza goal. I'm going to be very specific.
That sounds like a McPhee special as well, off Konza.
Yeah. Although I did see a stat about Wolves aren't conceding from set pieces, so we might have to rejiggle a bit on Saturday if we're going to want to exploit in that area.
Yeah, I've seen that one as well. He's going to need a master plan. I think they were like top, weren't they, for least conceded opportunities or shots or anything. They are. I
think it's something they've had to target, because obviously going from being a really tightly defensive side to sort of having that slip a bit, they're now on the resurgence again and trying to really tighten up that back line. So I do think it will be hard to put any past them, but I'm having some faith.
I'm just thinking of McPhee now, just like
he's getting his inspiration from the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah,
Justin,
you always leave me till last.
Yeah, because
you take my predictions.
You drop the mic. You drop the mic, and
I think it's going to be a really, really, really tight game. I do honestly. I think they're going to.
Justin, before you continue, you're lucky that you're still doing these predictions after you predicted Manchester United to win.
To be fair, I did get it right, didn't I?
Yeah. Reverse psychology on it.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, I do think it's going to be a really tight game. So I'm going to be cautious this week. I'm just going to go for a 3-0 Villa win. Just a comfortable 3-0 win. That's all it'll be this week. So nothing to get too excited about. Don't worry.
That's jokes. Right, we'll end it there then. And we'll be back for a fan cam. So anyone wants a fan cam and the McGregor statue after the game, turn up and we'll get you on as well. So up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Not the
Up the Villa.